Alright guys, today it is really windy out in the Banana River. It's about 17-mile-an-hour wind coming from the southeast. So we're really nestled up here to one of these spoil islands in the Banana. And the goal is that we're going to be throwing slow shrimp imitations. And there's a lot of mullet around, so I actually have a Catch 2000 that I'm hoping will rattle enough to attract some trout. So I'm hoping for either reds or trout today. If this doesn't work, right over here we have a couple more spoil islands before we hit some docks and inner canal structures. So let's see what we can get going today. Alright, so we're going to start off by matching the hatch here. It's really windy, so I don't even know if you guys can hear me right now. But I got a Catch 2000 going for that mullet imitation since I've been seeing a lot of diving pelicans as I was driving around earlier this week. Saw a lot of mullet in the flats. So that's what I'm going to start with. This is like a subsurface bait that you just twitch a lot like a topwater. So let's see, we're going to start by casting at the flat, which is over here at about 6 inches, and it's going to work its way out to about 2 or 3 feet, and then over here is actually about 9 feet, and the wind's pushing me over. All right. I forgot this happens every Wednesday. There's an Air Force base right over here. It has to be 5 o'clock. Let's take a look. Yep, 5:01. Might have to make it back in this canal system a lot earlier than I wanted to. If the wind keeps up like this. Alright, it's really windy, so I have to kind of overdub this part here. We were fishing this first flat off this spoil island. It was really shallow, only got a couple bites. So now we're moving to this second spoil island. Has a couple of great points on each side that move from 1 to 9 feet. We have residential area in the background if we need a third location. So we were using a Catch 2000, which was like a subsurface topwater. And now we're making a switch to this bucktail jig. I like the flat head on there. Stays out of the weeds a little bit better if there is any. I tip it with a gulp shrimp. It gives it a little bit of scent. Using this combination can get down deeper, and we can also move a lot slower. So let's see what we can get. Dump. There we go. Ooh, it's running pretty good. I'm hoping for a little red. Come on. Oh yeah, I'm seeing some red. Here we go, baby. Here we go. It's fighting good. Oh, it's a nice trout. Beautiful trout. I'm gonna let you go over there. Let's flip them in. Oh, it's a little tanker. Oh, she's fat. Dang, this thing is gorgeous. Whew. Yes. This is amazing. Oh my gosh, that thing is fat. Look how thick that guy is. It's probably a girl, actually. Let's get some pics. Alright, gorgeous trout here. You can see all the gorgeous purples and silvers. Got them on the gulp shrimp. Tipped on the bucktail here. This tsunami bucktail. We're gonna let this girl go. Probably about 20, 21. Oh yeah, super quick. She was ready. All right, let's see if we can get another one before we have to go in. Woo! All right, I feel like most of these strikes have been from the middle of the column. So I'm gonna switch to this gulp, I call it a twirly tail or curly tail, or like an old trout tout. And I tipped it on this jig head again, the bucktail. We're gonna see if we can draw some more strikes from the middle of the column. You can definitely see how nice that tail, even at really slow speeds. Sometimes I don't want to fish really fast. Get some sunset views going. And we can get a fish and some sunset views. There we go. Oh, it's almost 2 on cue. I'm trying to rip them out quick because it's the mangroves. All right. A little red. Whew, I'll take it. Of course, we got someone coming right behind us too. So I'm wondering what this beeping sound is. That's obnoxious. Apparently we have a weather alert. I don't know what you're talking about. Gorgeous weather. Well, my forward-facing camera isn't working, but as you can see, just a little guy here hit the curlicue, the trout tout, right under that mangrove and that beautiful sunset. We're gonna get him back in the water. A little redlet. All right, guys, hook out. Gonna send him home. Let's see how he does. Pretty tight. See if we can find his brother. Hopefully he's a little bigger. Face this way now, we got a nice sunset. Set directly into the sun. Alright, this mangrove behind me just packed me and stole my lure. I got it down by using my reel, but I'm switching poles. I'm going to try this subsurface before I get out of here. The sun's starting to go down, but I'm pretty happy with the results so far. We got some dolphins in the back over here. That every day while you're fishing. Goodbye, friend. Ooh, big one. Is that a micro tarpon? Flip it, flip it. Holy crap. That is the biggest ladyfish I have ever seen. Oh my God. I did not expect that at all. Jeez, I gotta see if I have a tape measure in here. Hang on 1 second. All right, this guy is flailing around like crazy. I'm gonna try to get a measurement on him real quick. Looks like it's gonna be about 24. This is not gonna be very accurate. Going with 24-inch ladyfish. Exactly 2 feet. That is crazy. All right, let's release him because they're really fragile fish actually, and they die pretty quick. Luckily not bleeding a whole lot yet. So we're gonna get him back in the water quickly. Let's get this going. Beautiful fish. Thought it was a micro tarpon. Call it a poor man's tarpon. Off good. Man, that was insane. Alright guys, back at the house. It's actually a couple days later. I teach high school during the day, so it takes me a while to see how these videos turned out. And I did not realize how bad the audio was in this video until now. So I debated on whether or not I should even be posting this video, but it's really the first time I've gotten into the fish in a few weeks because the conditions have been so bad. 15 to 17 mile an hour winds, 2 or 3 foot chop. So it's bad boating conditions, let alone fishing conditions. And besides wearing the obvious lucky crappy hat, I want to share with you some tips that I believe ended up allowing me to be successful during this fishing trip. So let's get into some Google Maps. So let's take a look into the area I was fishing. The first thing I was taking a look at was the wind, which was blowing from the southeast this direction. And I really thought about coming up here on this Piney Bridge where you have some deep to shallow areas, but I haven't had success really here before. So I was taking a look more into the residential canals where there's a lot more breaks, and I saw a lot of bait fish kind of hanging out in these areas on the fish finder. But then when I came out, there's actually diving pelicans in these areas and dolphins eating a lot of bait through this area. So I thought this would be a good place to start. Obviously not getting too close to the dolphins because they typically shut down the bite. So one of the first islands I saw that I could maybe park up against where you had some flats and some deeper areas was back in here. But when I got to the area, I saw those dolphins and I thought I needed to be a little bit farther away. This is a pretty popular island on the weekends. It has a little sandbar that almost comes out of the water. But this was like a Wednesday, so I didn't think anyone was going to be there. So I thought it would be a good spot to actually start fishing. So the first scene where I record that intro is actually against a mangrove here. And I started with that Catch 2000 because I knew how shallow it was, and it really was a subsurface, almost top water type bait. So I cast that in a windmill pattern. Really didn't get any hits except for one in this deep zone and one in the shallow. So after about 20 minutes, I gave up on that spot and moved in over here to my second spot. I've casted around here with my cast net in the past for bait, so I knew there would be a good amount of little babies running around here, so I was hoping that the moms and dads or the brothers, whatever you want to call it, was showing up today. And when I was surprised when I got here compared to this first spoil island was how much wind current, because we don't have any real tides or currents in the Banana River, but how much wind current was getting pushed through this area. So the wind current was actually, you can probably see in the video, especially when I was releasing that ladyfish, it was just kicking. So I believe that was definitely one of the major things to take a look out for next time during a windy day. The first one was finding the bait by finding the pelicans, and then once we found the bait pods, maybe looking for some areas that had some current. And then the third and most important one was these wind breaks. These islands were, I think, even though the current was ripping through there, the wind was not blowing as hard, except for me recording on this opposite side here. That's where all the wind noise was coming from. But I was casting towards this nice windbreak where you can see it was about a foot deep, and then it quickly was about 9 feet in the middle. So that first trout I caught was off this point here. There's actually this kingfisher. I had this really nice side story going with this kingfisher who caught, no joke, probably 24 fish this whole time. But those videos just got too windy, and that's why you see that one scene of me waving as he flies away. Anyways, first fish, nice fat pre-spawn trout, came off this corner here. The second one into the sunset was a little redfish, and that came actually in the shallows. I kind of cast it around the side here, and it hit almost immediately of hitting the water, the lure touching the water. And I was pretty happy and satisfied then. I was actually thinking about packing up and going in. Just shows you what type of week it was, that I was that happy to pack it in after a baby redfish and a nice trout. But I decided to throw on a Catch 2000 after snapping off my lure into these mangroves, and just a few more casts, and that's when I caught the biggest ladyfish that I've caught to date, which is pretty awesome because that puts me into, if it was a tarpon it would have been a slam, but I'm going to call it a poor man slam because it was a ladyfish and they call those poor man tarpon. So just to highlight real quick, 3 things to look for. First one was bait, second one was any type of wind current, and the third one was wind protected areas that moved from shallow to deep water so that the fish were finding some protection. Alright, so that's it for this video. Make sure you subscribe if you want to continue on this fishing journey with me. I'm going to be aiming mostly for educational videos as I relearn to fish as a 30-year-old adult. Probably should have name dropped my age there, but I'll probably end up deleting this video in the future anyways because of how bad the audio quality was. But we're going to work on that soon. Peace.